VGL, Vagobond Media's Web3 writers. I'm Stevie Demiscio, joined by co-host Riona Morgan. It is a rainy day in Hawaii, so you don't have to worry about not being here on vacation. You'd be miserable in your hotel, at least until the sun comes out. Riona, how are you today? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I think a rainy day in Hawaii sounds amazing because then I don't have to hide from the sun. That sounds so wonderful.
It's actually not that bad. It is nice when it rains here because, like, so often you feel this pressure, to go out. Like, oh, it's such a nice day. I've got to go out and, like, enjoy it. It doesn't matter if it happens, most days of the year. You still sort of feel like, oh, I've got to go out and, like, get some sunshine. I've got to go out and get in the water. These are real first world problems. but but it's super nice to have the opportunity to sort of like be like, okay, it's inside day today.
Right. Now, I've never been to Hawaii, but people talk about being in Hawaii and they talk about the rain, and are they called pineapple showers? Is that a real thing?
I have never heard that phrase, actually.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe
But
I will look up and see where that's coming from.
what I have heard is the Pineapple Express, which is like a warm weather front that moves through the Pacific and sort of carries warm air from Hawaii to the Pacific coast. But pineapple showers, it doesn't mean that it's not real. It's just that I've never heard it.
Oh, wow. Well, awesome. Okay, well, we'll keep that in our hat and see what we can find out.
Hey, is that you chiming so nicely?
It is. It's the clock that says that this is starting. And so it's my beautiful let's go talk to writers and be together and yeah, celebrate each other. So yeah, that's what that is.
It's really nice. I like that. Hey, I see Odd Writings has joined us up on the stage. Good morning, George. Odd Writings, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. As I said, this is Web3 Writers brought to you by Vagobond Media. We are super happy to be here. As always, this is a place where writers and blockchain meet, where we can talk about all the things that have been going on, whether it's the work that you're doing in Web3 as a writer, whether it's the writing that you've encountered on Web3, or in Web3, on or in, I don't know, or something else, like, for instance, this morning, what I would really like to start with is, I don't know if you guys followed the meme stocks and all that stuff that happened with GameStop a couple of years ago in 2021, but it looks like they're trying to do a part two. Have you seen this, Riona, George? Have you checked it out?
I have not seen any new news on that. I mean, I was on the fringes of it or read a little bit about it when it was happening originally, but I haven't seen anything new.
I've only seen a few headlines. I haven't delved into it. I am aware of the GameStop stuff that was happening back when it was happening, and I followed it then. But this one is I haven't gotten to it. Too many other things.
Okay, so I'll give you guys a quick lowdown on what it is. So 2021, there was this guy named Keith. He goes by Roaring Kitty or Deep Fucking Value, DFV. And this guy, there's a movie about it, which I recommend. It's a fun movie to watch. It's on Netflix, I think. And this guy basically developed this thesis that GameStop was being shorted and that it wasn't going to be a profitable company. And then he realized that he could organize a short squeeze and sort of like make a bunch of money buying futures on GameStop. But he was a real believer in it. So anyway, that's what happened in 2021. All the sort of degen types who were on the Wall Street Bets Reddit page, and these are a lot of like sort of like 4chan kind of people as well. A lot of degens. And so these guys jumped in, guys and girls, and a lot of them made millions and millions of dollars very quickly. And in my opinion, this was one of the big impetus moves that actually pushed Web3 a few years forward. And another one was the pandemic and the stimulus money that came from that. Another was the rise of Bitcoin and the DeFi summer. All of these things sort of converged. But the meme stocks were a big part of what pushed Web3, I think, 5 years early. as opposed to what it would have naturally developed. So what happened Sunday is after 3 years of having taken his money and gone home and gone quiet, Deep Fucking Value suddenly tweeted. And it's amazing to see that one guy posting a tweet of basically someone just sitting forward in a video game chair caused, I think, GameStop stock rose something like 75% on Monday morning and has risen further since that. Also, the other meme stocks, which is like AMC, the movie chain, Bed Bath and Beyond. I don't know if that one actually is even still existent, but all these meme stocks took off. Then you've got a trickle down, remembering that the people who made money from this before are a lot of the degens that are in this space, people who throw money at something so that they can, make other people exit liquidity for themselves. So then what happened was the degens in the space started pushing meme coins, right? And they started buying up the meme coins. And then they started creating on Solana GameStop meme coins and all kinds of like Deep Fucking Value, Roaring Kitty meme coins, anything that you can imagine that was even slightly connected to GameStop suddenly has been roaring. And that also includes meme coins like Pepe and Doge that weren't necessarily connected. Those have been pumping up too. And this is all just from one guy posting a meme picture on his Twitter account after 3 years of being inactive. So that's what's been kind of going on with the GameStop mania. And what people are saying, and I don't believe this honestly, but do your own research, and people are saying that this is like the start of the next flood of free money that is going to drive everything back higher and rescue ETH NFTs and all of this stuff. And I don't really buy that narrative, and I don't think anybody should put money into that narrative, but do your own research. So that's what's going on. So Riona, George, I'll have you guys talk about this if you want to, but first I want to say good morning to Cryptoversal and see, have you been following any of this stuff, Cryptoversal?
Hey, CD. Yeah, just from the edges, not really in my wheelhouse of interest. So I just kind of keep a side eye on it. It would be interesting if it sparks something, but not really in my world.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, what we hope that all of this free money, the degen space getting like a good boost would actually push some of the projects and things that we really care about and love and came into the space for, things like Vagobond magazine and literary NFTs, the Twig platform, paged out, all this stuff. We hope that stuff will actually get like a boost out of this. But there's no certainty of that, of course. So before we move on, Riona and Odd Writings. Oh, Odd Writings, your hand went up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say real quick that that's a good reason for keeping tabs on these things that don't seem to have anything to do with literature, because try to see how we can make them apply to literature on chain. That's always a good thing.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to echo that. Like there's like this ripple effect that happens when big splashes happen, and I feel like that it just will expand outward. And so I'm kind of in the same camp as you, CD, and Odd Writings and Cryptoversal, even that oh, this might be good news. This might be really exciting, just enough to get others involved, others looking and seeing, and then being able to be like, oh, there's more to all of this than what first meets the eye, and that there's literary things and great things out there too. So yeah, that's really kind of hopeful, I think.
Yeah, and it is all connected, and there is a weird chain of connections that connects all of these different communities and things. So I've brought a couple of topics today, but what I would love to ask first is, Riona, have you had your eye on anything this week that's kind of caught your attention? And I'm going to ask everybody who's on stage, and if you have found something and you're not on stage, come up on stage and join us and let us know what you've been looking at or what you're excited about. But Riona, we'll start with you.
Yeah, and so I use ChatGPT a lot for social posting. Like I work a lot with Page Dow. I work a lot with Vagobond magazine, of course, and my own projects, the 7 Love Stories, literary NFT, myself. And so I'm always doing social posts. And for whatever reason, my mind is just like blank when it comes to creating those. And so I jump into Chat GPT all the time and utilize that for social posts. And because it's clever and it can take one topic and really just kind of evolve it and morph it into all of these different exciting phrasings. And so I like doing that. And I noticed that ChatGPT has gone beyond the 3.5 to ChatGPT 4. And now it's like ChatGPT 4.0. And so that's really interesting. So I was doing a little bit of reading this morning about how it's changed and what it now is looking like. And it's just an extension of its ability. I feel like that there's some information on it where it can help speakers of English communicate with other speakers around the globe and vice versa. And so that is a new piece that I'm really sort of interested in. And yeah, and so I was just like, that's really something to look at and see how it's expanding its reach and its benefit.
Yeah, that is super interesting. I don't know if I would actually trust Chat GPT to translate for me if I was in another country. I mean, and I've noticed lately, personally, um, when I use Chat GPT, I feel like either I've become more critical of what it's producing or the quality of what it's producing has gone down. And I'm not a subscriber, so I don't pay for it, so I don't have the latest, greatest. But have you noticed that at all, Riona? And are you a subscriber? Like, do you pay for the service so that you have the latest and greatest version?
I do through Whitney Morgan Media. The Whitney Morgan Media pays for a subscription to ChatGPT, and I have not. One of my favorite words in the world is realm. I love it. It seems magical and fun. And if you look back at old work of mine, like way before, last last century even, like you'll run across poetry that I've written that has the word realm in it. And I'm just so sad that ChatGPT has picked up on that word and has sort of run with it. And I'm just like, oh, but I love that word. And so I keep it out of my vocabulary when I'm writing these days because I'm like, I don't want anyone to be like, well, that's a Chat GPT written thing. And so there's some words that it just repeats over and over. And I just, um, that's kind of sad. I like it for outlining purposes or thought provoking things, or like, how could I say this, or act like a Fortune 500, marketing expert and give me blah, 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 whatever it is, those kinds of things. But I'm not a fan of it for just straight up writing, because it seems trite. I don't know. Yes, I guess I agree. That's a long answer to say yes, I agree.
No. You actually said so much more than just yes, I agree. And I have some thoughts on it, but I see Sean has come up and joined us,
Yes.
and you got your hand up. Sean, how's it going?
I'm doing great. I'm actually a subscriber to it and use it a lot in my writing. I have ADD, so I started, of course, because it just helps me as my little editor, research buddy, that sort of thing. But now in the last few months, like the last update, they introduced memory, and of course custom GPTs before that. So I had created my own like future writer, for music or whatever, once for different topics, fed it my PDFs. And then as I'm writing it, I'm like, don't ever use that word. Commit that to memory and it'll memorize it, right? And there's like a list of things that's memorized and you can edit those individually. So you can really fine tune it and make, it just helps me a lot to be much more efficient.
Oh, that's really good to know. So when you're a subscriber, you can actually sort of train it to not use those words. And that was
Yep.
what I wanted to say, Riona, is that realm is, I when I look at your writing, I'm going to be convinced that it's all written by ChatGPT in 1996 or whatever, because the word realm is such an indicator to me. Like I see it now, and I'm just like, oh, ChatGPT. Same thing with tapestry. There's a few others, but what words have you guys noticed that ChatGPT settles on aside from realm and tapestry would be my my contribution there.
I can't think of a particular word, but I have at one point told it to stop using anything more than like 2 syllables. Like it loves a good 3-syllable word. And I'm like, all right, take it easy.
Oh, yes, and adverb heavy. Oh my goodness. I'm like, let's don't. Like adverbs are powerful things, but Chat GPT just loads them in, and it's wild.
That's so funny. When I've used it for like business writing or anything like that, I've always said remove all adjectives and adverbs from the piece afterwards, and it makes it so much better. But sometimes when I read that, I've taught English, and when I read that stuff, I look at it and it just reminds me of like a seventh grader trying to fluff up an essay with a bunch of extra words. That's what it really feels like. ChatGPT feels like a seventh grader trying to fluff their essay up by 100 words.
Yeah, it's really really quite interesting. I'll put in something, and Sean, I really like your approach. I'm just like, oh, you can teach it these things, and maybe make it sound a little bit more like you, because I'm always writing letters, or I'm always writing language for agreements, or I'm always writing, like, there's so many things that it could really pop in and really help out with. And then there's some things that I absolutely don't want to use it for. And so I'm really interested in learning more about the functionality of it and how you can teach it to do things. I think it's a tool that I think that we really need to have in our wheelhouse. But there's just no replacing the pen to paper, that powerful connection. I just love that. I just love that piece. Oh, odd writings. Yes, please jump in.
Yeah, the only thing I know about the new version that came out, I never use it. I don't have a subscription, so I'm unfamiliar with it other than what I read in the news. And all I read about is on a again, it was a headline, so I didn't have the time at the moment to delve into the article, but it said that two of the things that they added or that they strengthened were the ability to teach math and the ability to flirt, which I thought was kind of funny. But on the thing about flirting, Riona, since you do romance literature, I wonder if that translates into uh, two characters flirting with one another, that somehow it's gained some insight, and I'm wondering what that might be.
Oh, I will test that out and see what we can come up with. That might be really interesting. Flirting. Clever. Okay, George, I'm on it.
I saw a video where they had 2 of them talking to each other and like with one, human narrator. So I wonder if they could flirt with each other and have like an android romance.
And just watch where that descends. I can just imagine that descending completely into chaos as like they flirt with each other, but then their algorithms get weirded out and they start to, go crazy. There's the writer in me coming right out. There's a story for somebody. If you want to steal it, go right ahead. Okay, so you guys have given me a segue into something that is kind of related to what I want to talk about, but a little bit different. I reread. Do you guys know who Neil Strauss is? Um, Okay, well, if you're listening and you don't know who Neil Strauss is, I'll tell you. Neil Strauss is a New York Times writer, he's a best-selling author, and he really vaulted to fame when in the early 2000s he joined a community of what's called pickup artists. That's PUAs, they call them. And he joined this community of pickup artists and like to learn all their secrets for how to pick up girls and how to like get girls to sleep with you. And he like joined this community for 2.5 years. He embedded himself in the community, and he became self-described, and by others as well, the world's greatest pickup artist. And so he wrote a book about that called The Game. Now, I recently saw a social post about pickup artists descending on Honolulu and how girls should be like careful about the fact that there was all these pickup artists and their mentors were here, which is so weird. I hadn't thought about this stuff for years, and it made me think like, oh, you know what, I should read that book again, and maybe I should give it to my like almost teenage daughter so that she has like some sort of protection against pickup artists. So I picked it up, I reread it pretty quickly, and okay, so the result is, one, No, I can't let my teenage daughter read that because there's some very graphic sex stuff in there that I don't want to like traumatize her with, or even whatever. So it's not appropriate for that yet. Two, the community that is these. Oh, and I. Okay, so I'll come back to that in a second, but first I want to continue with who Neil Strauss is. So Neil Strauss wrote this book, The Game, and about pickup artists and how people could pick up chicks. And then he actually, and many of these pickup artists entered the NFT space in 2021. And they entered the NFT space. Neil Strauss was first involved, I saw, with a project called Invaders, which was kind of a rug and failed. And then he got involved with Jenkins the Valet and Bored Ape Yacht Club. And he is the ghostwriter. Jenkins the Valet was a bored ape that wrote stories about apes and created this community of people where they'd all contribute to it. We talked about this in the past. Bored and Dangerous is the book that Neil Strauss eventually wrote for Jenkins the Valet. So you've got this pickup artist, New York Times, like celebrity writer who wrote a bored ape book. It was a big headline and things. So that's who Neil Strauss is. And geez, I completely lost the thread. Let's just open it up for some questions here or comments while I try to gather my thoughts. That was a big rambling thing about Neil Strauss.
Well, I know Neil Strauss because he's got a lot of ties to the rock and roll world. He's done stuff with Marilyn Manson, Motley Crue, and stuff. So, but I don't know where we were going.
Thank you, Sean. I just needed that moment to like turn off the mic. Where we were going is with Chat GPT and romance, and to Chat GPT having a flirting session, which is what the game is all about. That's where it came from. And as I was reading the game, what I realized was that all of these pickup artists, these people that basically these are like lonely guys that couldn't get laid, who paid thousands of dollars to learn all the secrets about how to talk to women. They basically memorized these routines and figured out how to be cocky, funny, flirty. In some sense, these are like what you call incels, the involuntarily celibate folks who went out and paid lots of money to try to learn how to get game. And so I'm wondering if the Chat GPT has taken these sort of like pickup artist lines, and if that's the way that it's going to be flirting with cocky funny, and there's all these terrible things called negging. Like negging is like when you throw out a negative comment at a woman to make her self-esteem low so that you can then raise her up and like manipulate her emotions. It's awful stuff, and I think all girls should be inoculated against it. But that was where I was going with the Chat GPT thing. So in terms of the pickup artist stuff, I'm just going to jump into the next point. I wrote a piece, published it yesterday. I've been writing it for a while. It's something I've been working on for a few years. My background's in anthropology and in looking at communities on the internet, things from like Trekkies and anime fans, people that collect teaspoons and form user groups, couch surfing for travelers, even the pickup artists. Had like these huge online communities. I've never actually studied those communities, but I have been studying the NFT and blockchain and crypto communities. And what I realized reading the game was that these pickup artists are really the backbone of so much. Their vocabulary, their everything is connected with GameStop and making money. So it's crazy how all this stuff is connected. When you look at the traits of NFT collections, the vocabulary that's used in the NFT world, what you find is all the same vocabulary from these incels and pickup artists and all that stuff. So I just want to throw that out there, and hopefully we can have some conversation about the different communities that exist within crypto and what you've experienced. And yeah, we can go from there. I've been talking a long time now. George, go for it. Anybody, just go ahead.
Yeah, that's really interesting. One of the it's this somewhat ties in because I write poetry, and I try to do poems that fit a very narrow niche, right? And so I tend to write, as most of you guys know, I tend to write stuff that has lots of puzzles in it, and kind of like people that like puzzles might like it. Well, I've noticed a sort of subgenre. Y'all know about NSFW, right? Not safe for work. There's a subgenre of poetry writers that kind of flirt on the edge, so to speak, of what might be considered scandalous or what might not be considered scandalous or what might be considered, debasing to women, or what would not be considered debasing to women. And so they have a little network, and so I've been my next target for my next poetry book is going to be targeted at them. And you may have noticed some of the things that I've been posting where I've been linking to some of these groups and trying to gauge what the interest might be, because there is a subgroup of specific literary people. Some of them like erotica, sometimes some of them are more poetry engaged, so I think my next book is going to be kind of geared towards that. I'm going to kind of see how that if it sells or not, because obviously I've noticed with the experiments on Scent, with the graphics that I put in the background of some of the poems on Scent, putting graphics that are not NSFW but are kind of veering towards that seductive kind of look, that definitely increases the sales. So I thought it was somewhat relevant, so I thought I would throw that out there.
Oh, that's totally relevant, George. It's I bet you'll do very well. Like, honestly, I think if you were to take that NSW thing and push it on NFTs, you would find community all over the place that did that. It'll be interesting to see your results from that.
Well, I want to jump in and say, George, I really have been liking the pieces that you're doing. I really think that they're tasteful and they're elegant, and I don't think that it doesn't dip its toe into, being degrading in any way. I just feel like it's almost a celebration of the beauty of people and the beauty of women. And so I've been pleased. I'm very mindful, because even here, you all know I'm a lawyer in real life and I'm surrounded by men all the time. And even here, I'm surrounded by men in Web3 a lot. And I do see we have several women in the audience with us today. And so that's wonderful. I'm so excited about that. And but I have to say that here, where I am here, in Web3 with all of you, you all are so much more respectful and kind and thoughtful and mindful that I am who I am in the space with you, and you are lovely. And that I can't say that in my real life. And so I just have been so pleased, George, and sort of, really honored to be a colleague of yours, a friend of yours, and a supporter of yours, because I feel like you're doing a beautiful job. And so I really commend you on taking that route and seeing what you can do, and whose lives you can impact, and the words that you create, what you can do, and what messages you can send. And so I'm really proud of you. Thanks.
Thanks, Brianna. That means a lot. Thank you.
And I just want to take this moment to let everybody know this is the Web3 Writers by Vagobond Media. And if you're here, you're welcome to come up on the stage. This is a conversation. It's not so much us talking at you as we want it to be us talking with you. So I want to say hi to Jillian Godsell. We're so happy to have you with us. Jose, we're glad you joined us. Lisa Gibbons, love having you here. Tech Savvy, Authored Style, Ideas, Mervat, all of you are welcome to come up on the stage and join the conversation. If you have thoughts, ideas, things you want to share, writing that you've been doing, or questions that you've pondered and wondered, wanted to throw out to the world, we'd love to have you up here. Apologies for, changing the topic there. I just wanted to make sure that was out there. And Riona, thank you so much for that. We love having you in the space. I think that the Web3 writing space is a little different. I think if you were to venture deeper into the degen space, I don't know. I sort of suspect that it might not be as pleasant. I see a lot of misogynistic stuff, and things that don't necessarily, I don't want to even be a part of. So I'm glad that you're in the space that we're in, and thank you so much for honoring us by telling us that we respect and honor you, because I think we all love you a lot.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I love all of you a lot too. And I definitely agree. If I were to step a toe into other locations, I saw Sean throw up 100%. I agree with that. I don't think that I would probably be welcomed because I'm a person going into the spaces like that, but I don't know if I would be met with the same sort of respect and care that I receive here in the group with all of you. And so I feel so lucky and honored to be here with you. And I feel like that this group of writers and however large this grows to become, I really feel like we're creating a change that is so necessary, and you all are a huge part of that. So thank you.
Sean, I wondered if you had some thoughts on that, or Cryptoversal. If you guys have something you'd like to contribute, please feel free.
I was just thinking about also the going back to the ChatGPT thing, because it's going to change writing music. I wonder how much, because anyone that watched it, he was talking and they were like, it was noticing his emotions. So I'm wondering, can we like sing melodies to it and work out lyrics as like a writing partner with it, like that sort of thing? I'm wondering too. I'm very excited. That isn't out yet. Like I said before, I have the pro version, but that part's getting released within the next couple of weeks, I guess. So yeah, I'm very excited to use it and see how far it can go. You could use it with like poetry writing, things like that. It'll be much easier than typing it in, just to be like, oh yeah, that's good. What else rhymes with that? And have them just like respond in real time. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I just want to chime in also and say that I'm enjoying this conversation, and for just the aspects of the community itself, but also the looks that we get on other technological developments like ChatGPT, or community developments, or what's going on in the news that might affect the space. It's really an hour that I find always very useful and always enjoyable, and this is no exception.
Well, Cryptoversal, I mean, we love it when you make it. I know there was some religious stuff going on, and you didn't make it for a while, but we're really glad to have you back. I wonder, you tend to look at a very different side of the space than I look at, and I wonder what you've seen recently, or anything that you've come across that has been interesting, or where is your energy at in terms of Web3 writing these days?
Well, I had some projects that I had boiling in the background for a while that released in the past week that I'm kind of glad that they're out there. Whether they get traction or not, it's useful to keep experimenting and keep putting things out. I think where I am now is I have a lot of like projects that have been started and put into the background and sort of simmering, and I need to reduce that. I think I need to simplify and maybe get some things out, and maybe get more people involved in some of these projects, and just take them off my plate, or just take them and run with them. And I'm always looking for people who are looking for something, some way into the space, because I have like, here's a project that's on its way to first base, and you can take off and run around the bases with it and make it a home run, hopefully, or standing triple at least. But yeah, that's basically where I am this week.
Okay. Are you still pretty deeply involved in Farcaster, or what's going on there? I'm loving Farcaster more and more. The more I use it, the more I find myself using other things less. But I know you were there much deeper than I am. How's it going on Farcaster for you?
Yeah, I love Farcaster. It's hard to keep up with Farcaster, I find, because there's just so much innovation that if you look away for a day or two and you come back, there people are talking about this whole new thing that, where did this even come from? I have effectively abandoned X. I hardly ever use it, or just cross post something to it. Never really check it. I hate to put all the social media eggs in one basket, but if I were to do that, I have fun on Farcaster, and I don't have fun anywhere else.
Wait, you don't have fun anywhere else, or you just mean social media?
In social media, some people have fun on social media wherever they go because they're social media folks, and I admire the heck out of them. I guess what I admire about Farcaster is that there's so many creative people who are working with the structure of it, who are putting frames on it and then fun things into the frames. I do the Wordle through the New York Times every day, and there's a community on Farcaster that does Wordle in a frame. And it's a different puzzle for each person each day. So you can't cheat on it. You can't, you can't give anyone the answer to it because your answer is different from their answer. And then it tracks your score and it gives you an average over 14 days. And then there's a leaderboard and then there are rewards. And it is so much better than the New York Times version because there's a community built around it. And you can come up with your own puzzles and you can put your own puzzles out. And you can build on it, and that's just an example of you can take something, put it and use Farcaster as a platform, and frames as a technology, and just go nuts with it. And there are so many people doing things like that, and you just look around, and you can find something pretty much on any given day. You can find something like you've never seen before. So that's one of the reasons I'm really enjoying Farcaster.
I'm continuing to attempt to figure out how to get myself on Farcaster without owning a cell phone. I still haven't won at this challenge yet, but it's something that, because I can see the impetus behind it. It's gaining a lot of traction, and in particular, well, of course, a lot of us are here in PageDAO, and of course they're doing a lot of stuff in using Farcaster. And Arjun, a friend of mine, well, a guy in France who's very big on NFT poetry, and he has kind of established himself on Farcaster. I check it, even though I can't log in. I do have my Odd Writings name kind of reserved, but I can't verify it because I don't have a cell phone. But I can still go and kind of see what other people are doing, and one thing, at least for poets, for NFT poets, it's really important, I think, to keep in touch with Arjun because he's really getting a name for himself on Farcaster, and it's good to see. It's wonderful to see, actually.
Yeah, I love Arjun. He's been on Web3 Writers with us a few times, and he's just such a down to earth and grounded guy, and on Farcaster, he's constantly contributing towards other people's success. And he's really one of those people you really want to know. And I'm just so glad that through this space, got the chance to know him. And that's been the greatest thing about Web3 Writers is we do this space every week, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. EST. And we've met so many great writers and people and poets and, technologists and artists through this space. They pop in, we talk a little bit, and then maybe they come again and they jump up on the stage with us. I'm looking in the audience right now, and I see Jose and Authored Style and Lisa Gibbons, and a few other people that's just tech savvy. I saw your comments on GameStop Corporation, and so this space is just so great. So I just want to encourage everybody, if you're here, we have a great community that meets, we're sort of like torn between Vagobond Media and PageDAO and Twitter and Farcaster, or X if you want. But this community all comes together in different places, and the bonds that we've built are real. So if you're here right now, just take a minute and go through and just follow everybody that's in the space, and you won't regret it. You'll see some interesting things. You'll see some great projects, some writing that you might not have otherwise seen. And it's worth the moment that it takes to go through and follow everybody. Also, feel free to invite people. Use that little arrow button on the top of the space and just, let people know that you're listening to Web3 Writers or you're participating on the stage. And we'd love to know you and know your friends better. All right. That's my commercial break. Okay. So I want to open this up now. Hey, Mike from Meta Builders is here and on the stage. How are you, Mike?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm terrible, man. It's awful.
Is that what that smell is? Oh, I'm just kidding.
Man, smell-o-vision. Here we are. What are you up to this week, Mike? What is happening in MetaBuilder's world?
Well, lots of stuff actually. We just got a meeting yesterday with some people that are throwing this event that's worldwide. They're building one tiny home in every state in America, and essentially they're throwing this big old event that they want us to build an edutainment style metaverse experience for them that everyone can experience in all 50 states, but it's the same event. Obviously, augmented reality, virtual reality, all of these different things, but there's supposed to be like 200 million people that are going to be participating in this event worldwide or, nationwide. And I've been racking my brain on how I can add value to everything. And essentially, with what they're doing, they're going to be seeking millions of dollars in pledges and investments. And so I've, swung in my smart farms idea because they're trying to find businesses that are making a positive impact and in these small towns or whatever, where they're building these tiny homes. So I figured get my farm funded so I can expand there. And obviously I'm going to include everything else that I'm involved in, but it's a huge opportunity to collaborate with people from the industry and really showcase what MetaBuilders does as a business and what this massive community of communities is capable of.
That's a great phrase, a community of communities. That is what we are. We're a community of communities. And, there's so much overlap between all these communities, and it's so fun to watch, people move from one part to another part to another part, and sometimes to go along with them and sometimes not. Sounds really exciting, Mike, actually. So give us the elevator pitch. What is MetaBuilder's elevator pitch?
MetaBuilders provides turnkey solutions for businesses and brands who want to enter Web3. We have professional artists, animators, marketers, and authors, and everyone necessary to be able to execute on any project, big or small, when it comes to integrating into the metaverse and Web3 with smart contracts. And we even do events. I've hosted and funded many different events all across the United States. And essentially what we're doing is utilizing in a decentralized autonomous fashion the service providers in the space that we know and trust that have built a Web3 portfolio and build that within this community so that we can service Fortune 500 companies in a way that allows the anonymous individuals who have the skills that these big businesses need, but then those businesses also need some level of protection. And MetaBuilders is that business that is liable to whatever happens with the developers, but the developers can maintain anonymity, and the businesses can feel comfortable with the fact that their investments in MetaBuilders are safe and not have to worry about these anonymous developers just disappearing and coming back as a pig, and doing the same thing.
Holy shit. You guys, that was not practice. Mike didn't know I was going to throw that answer at him. That is how a founder needs to be prepared to give an elevator pitch on the spot. I mean, that was it. Like I said, what's your elevator pitch? And he gave us the lowdown. He told us what it was, why it's good, why we should be interested in it, why we should be paying attention. Mike, that was an awesome elevator pitch. If you would have asked me the same question, I would have been like, oh, I don't know. We publish about digital shit, Web3. That was so good, man.
I appreciate it. Well, I've been blabbing about this shit for like almost 6 years now, so I better know what I'm talking about.
Okay, let's put everybody else on the spot. Cryptoversal Books. Give us the elevator pitch for Cryptoversal Books.
Cryptoversal Books is a laboratory for Web3 and advanced ebook development. We are where imagination and technology meet.
God, you were ready too. I can't believe it. Brianna Morgan, elevator pitch for Whitney Morgan Media.
Yeah, okay. I can definitely do that. We are publishing where tradition meets digital. So we're a publishing company where we allow and encourage writers to publish traditionally, but also step their toe into Web3 and publish NFTs and publish digitally so that they can do both, where a lot of publishers are simply saying no.
God, you were ready too. Odd Writings, give us an elevator pitch on something.
Yeah, I'm this guy. I kind of sit around and I like writing things. I like writing kind of weird things, mostly because I'm not good at talking to people. So if you were to ask me, for example, to give an elevator pitch, oh man, I mean that's like the opposite of poetry to me. I just, not to diss on anybody that is good at elevator pitch. That's definitely a wonderful trait to have. But if you want to read something that's written by somebody that's really quiet and at least not when he's on his face and just kind of like spends a lot of time thinking about words and what they might mean and how to mix them together, then take a look at my stuff and I don't know if you like it, think about getting some.
You know what? That was completely awesome in a totally different way. Okay, Sean, you're on the stage with us, so throw an elevator pitch at us, man.
All right. Well, I'm founder of Web3 Metal. I was coming on and finding a whole bunch of different projects, like from Megadeth and A7X, all kinds of ones, but no home to learn about them all at once. So I created Web3 Metal. We're bridging the power of raw metal music and cutting edge innovation of Web3. We deliver a newsletter packed with all the news that you can, and new songs and new drops. Plus, we help artists out with our collab club, bringing a whole bunch of different people together to collaborate on music and art. Our first track is out now on Sound XYZ.
God, you guys are so much better than I am. I just cannot even express how awesome you guys all are. Now, if you're in the audience and you want to come up and give your elevator pitch, you are welcome to do that. Just throw your hand up and we'll get you up here. Easy in crypto, I am looking at you. Jose Cabrera, we want to hear your elevator pitch. Tech savvy, authored style. Articulate. We articulate. We want you to come up and articulate as well. Ideas, we've been waiting to hear from you for a long time, my friend. And Kunta the Blue Pepe, yeah, we want to hear your elevator pitch too. So if you have a pitch, throw your hand up. We'll get you up there. Otherwise, actually, even if you do come up, I still want to hear from Meta Builders right now.
I just wanted to mention that that's a hilarious name, to force people to inappropriately say your name out loud and have it be the, one of the words that are necessary for you to be able to say it correctly. It's just funny walking through that.
So you're laughing at me, Mike. Great.
Yeah,
articulate.
Articulate.
I know that was awesome. I couldn't believe how fun that was to actually go through. All right, nobody's raising their hand. So just know that you're welcome. That's all I got to say, friends. So we have so much talent, so much diversity, so much of wide range of projects and things going on with Web3 writers, with PageDAO, with Vagobond Media. So I do want to talk about one thing. Just for those of you who are in the PageDAO server, you may have noticed that over the past couple of weeks, we made an offer to be acquired by PageDAO. We thought it was a pretty fair offer. We priced it in Page because we believe in the PageDAO ecosystem, and we wanted to, show people that Page is something that you can actually buy things with. So what we did was we offered to sell our main asset, Vagobond Magazine, to PageDAO for Page. So we got together, all the editors, the senior editors, we crafted up a proposal that we thought was very fair. We put it on our VM DAO for vote. It passed, so we presented it to PageDAO. And I do want to tell you guys that unfortunately, it was not the right time for PageDAO to make that sort of acquisition. We had all kinds of reasons why we thought it was a good move, but for PageDAO itself, they did not take us up on the offer. And we're okay with that. Actually, we're very okay with that. We've been working on the next issue. We've got that ready to go. June 21st is going to be the next issue. It's going to be a celebration of all of the writing that was done during T2, Friends That Write. And we've got some amazing writers, some amazing pieces in that magazine, ready to go. We're going to be also celebrating a little bit of Twig and what they've been building there. But you may not know this. I talked earlier about how there's a lot of crossover between all of these organizations when Mike said that we're a community of communities. So Riona Morgan is actually the head of community with PageDAO, as well as being the editor-in-chief of Vagobond magazine. I'm the head of messaging at PageDAO. And in addition, Mike is a consultant with PageDAO. I'm not exactly sure if you have a title or not, Mike, but he's a very valued consultant with PageDAO. So when you guys hear us talk about PageDAO, just know that we're coming from a place where we're deeply involved and we love it enough to commit our time and our energy. And these are, mostly volunteer positions that we focus our time there. But being the head of community and publishing, Cryptoversal Books also is the head of publishing with PageDAO. I'm sorry for leaving you out there, brother. So anyway, what I want to do is I want to turn it to Riona Morgan so she can tell us a little bit about what's happening with PageDAO and invite people to the community there and, tell us a little bit what's happening with PageDAO, Riona.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Well, this week, normally PageDAO is bustling. It's a hive of, this and that and all sorts of things and meetings and get togethers and conversations and calls for poetry and, all of these things. Last week, we put together a celebration for Mother's Day in partnership with Cryptoversal. And I shared that up in the nest, I think, even. But this week we are so darn close to having what we've been working on building for months, years, dreaming about all of these things, this platform for writers, this hub for writers, this whole new minting system for writers, people to jump in and create a profile that showcases what they're doing and where their work is, and cross chain, interchain. Anyway, it's wonderful, but we're so close to having that be the green light ready to go, that we're just sort of quiet so that the developers in the background, Indefatigable, our lead developer, and everybody on the product team there, they can just hunker down and work. And so we're just sort of being kind of mellow. We're not having big meetings. We're treading water and cheering in the background. And yeah, it's so exciting, and I cannot wait to give the announcement that it's ready to start beta testing, and we've got a whole plan set out for that, and people who have been with us since the very beginning, and people who are joining us periodically, and if you're really interested in being part of everything, please, PageDAO is here in the audience with us, just listening in. And in fact, I'm running that today. If you want to jump in and follow PageDAO, jump in and join the Discord. It's going to be quiet this week and maybe even next week a little bit. But if you do jump in, just say, hey, Rihanna, I'm here, or hey, CD, I'm here, or Cryptoversal, or whatever. Just introduce yourself and say, this is what I am, this is what I'm loving, this is what I'm doing, and we can't wait to welcome you, and we can't wait to help you find your home at PageDAO with all the new things that we're building for writers in the Web3 space. So come on in.
That was great. And I want to just add on to that this week I had a really deep conversation with Indefatigable, Robbie Pollock, who's the lead developer at PageDAO, the head of research and development. And man, I'm so excited for what's coming. I do want people's expectations to be tempered. I mean, what we're getting ready to produce is the MVP. It's a minimum viable product of what we've been working on. There's a long road ahead still, so this isn't going to be like the perfect exact thing. But the thing to remember about PageDAO is that PageDAO is here. We've been here. We're not going away. It's not going away. And we are actually a DAO. So one of the things that we've been spending a lot of time on, and Robbie and Phil of Austin, who are, Phil is the basically the COO of PageDAO, but what they've done is they've hired some consultants to come in and to help us to transition the governance process of PageDAO into something that works and will work no matter who's with it. So right now what we're doing is we're filling these roles, but these roles will continue to exist, but without necessarily me being in the role that I'm in, or Riona or Cryptoversal. But we're making this whole organization through something called Holacracy, which Holacracy, if you're unfamiliar with it, I recommend that you check out the book. We're all reading the book together. We're working with these consultants to build a better DAO style of governance, and so that PageDAO can perpetuate and continue now and in the future. It's really exciting times for us at PageDAO as we do this, as we go through this. And the important thing to note is that what Holacracy really focuses on is finding tension points within an organization and then finding ways to work through those tension points. And so that is the work that we're doing. And it's not easy by any means. There's conflict, people butt heads, people have differing ideas. Sometimes there's personalities that get in the way, but essentially we are really building something wonderful there. And I'm excited to be a part of it. And I'm excited to be working with Riona and Cryptoversal and all the PageDAO members that are there. And yeah, it's just really exciting times. All right. So that was what I wanted to add on. I do want to ask, we're reaching towards the end of the hour. If there's anybody that would like to come up and share anything, articulate, we'd love to have you up here. And Roos, we'd also love to have you up here. Anybody that's here, you're welcome to come up on the stage. Articulate, tell us how you are, who you are, and what you're doing, man.
Thank you for having me. And sorry about the name chop up there earlier. I'm Articulate. I'm a musician bringing music on chain. I'm also a partner at the Quorum Community DAO, where we focus on education with about Web3 blockchain. And we're also utilizing the Quorum, which is the world's first super ledger. They have smart token technology, and we leverage that to bring programmable assets and utilize that to reach more people with different forms of either content or just leverage the technology to build new things on top of the ledger. So I'm a three-time speaker at NFT NYC as well, where I've been able to speak on topics such as education, adoption in the Web3 space, and also branding. So, pretty charting the course for musicians in the future, and also helping to onboard new people into the space through education. And I'm also a co-host of a podcast called the Superledger Podcast, held here on X Spaces every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we interview different movers and shakers in the blockchain space.
Articulate, we're so happy to have you here, and no need for apology, man. We were just having fun with the fact that that I sort of stumbled over your name, but your name is great. We loved it, and we're so happy to have you here, have you part of the Web3 Writers fam. You're welcome anytime, and anytime you're here, just come up on the stage with us. We love your perspective and ideas, and I wonder if we met at NFT NYC last year. Not this year, but last year, myself and Riona Morgan were both there. Edward Carpenter as well, Easy in Crypto. So it's possible we've crossed paths there. I would have loved to have caught some of your panels. I don't think I did, but anyway, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So with 1 minute left, this is where we check in and just make sure that if anybody has anything that they need to share or that they wanted to share before we close out for the week, this is the time to do it. iKing, I see you've joined us, but we've only got a minute left. So next week, hopefully, we'll get you on earlier. Riona, I'll hand it to you and you can check in with everybody else.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to say that I saw some friends of ours in the audience, Jillian and Lisa, who were here earlier, and so many new friends today. I'm so excited about all of that. And I just wanted to send a shout out to Jillian and a shout out to Lisa and say welcome. I'm so glad you guys came. I know that your schedules in your time zone are wild, but that you took time out of your day to come be with us. That's wonderful. And iKing, it's great to see you, and everybody, Authored Style, everybody is so wonderful. Thank you all so much for coming. And I know Sinful was trying to jump up on the stage and share some things, but hopefully you'll come back again another day, and we'll have more time. to really chat a bit more.
Well, okay, this is the time that we close it out. So, you guys, I'm based in Hawaii, obviously, where it stopped raining. So it's a beautiful day already. But in Hawaii, we have this great concept called aloha, which most of the world knows as hello and goodbye, but it also means love. And it means we all breathe the same air and we are really one. And we love to close out Web3 Writers with everybody that's on the stage. We invite you to open up your mic and at the count of 3, just share a little aloha with the world. So at the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Aloha.
Aloha.